in Pretoria. The French players now on the field, just warming up for their game against Scotland in just a few moments' time. The winner of that game today,
Gavin Hastings, leading his team out. Been captain ever since the Irish match in 1993, and a truly inspirational captain he's been. Sprinting to catch them all. At the end there, Kenny Logan making an entry and a half, and the French running out, looking a lot more fired up already than we've seen them at some of the other games. The world record holder now by a very clear margin. The previous world record, 30 points, held by the Frenchman Didier Camberabero and Rob Andrew. And now Gavin Hastings has turned it to 44, and he got 31 in the other match. Philippe Saint-André, now France's most capped wing. He's taken over from Patrick Lagisquet, the man he succeeded in the French side. Everybody has now become usual in these World Cup matches, scurrying to their positions, taking up their seats at the last possible minute. Well, a calm intensity about the Scottish team. Plenty of Frenchmen around too to cheer their country on. The Scottish 15 then. Scotland have gone for their strongest combination. Gavin Hastings wins his 60th cap. Brother Scott is only 4 behind him. He's restored to the centre with Graham Shield. And despite a strong challenge from Derek Patterson, Brian Redpath is preferred at scrum half, while the pack shows just one change from the 8 who faced France in the Five Nations Championship. Johnny Weir comes into the second row for Stuart Campbell. And the French too have gone back to a tried and trusted combination. They'll field the team which won that historic series victory 2-0 in New Zealand last summer. Coach Pierre Babizier says the time for experimenting's over. So Christophe Delot and Guy Akosaberi are reunited at half-back, while Abdel Benazi, Philippe Benetton and Laurent Caban form the back row. The Scots have no back row forward on the bench. Weir will move back with Campbell coming into the second row, while the French will move Benazi forward, if necessary, with Marc Session going to number 8. There's the referee, Wayne Eriksson from Australia, and Barry Leask and Steph Neatling will be running the line. So it's going to be France to kick off, and Christophe Delot will be the man to start everything. Well, here we go. Expect a lot of passion. Dottie Weir gets the first touch. Chalmers, an all-important first kick, and it's a good one.
I'm delighted to see the Scottish boys getting together there, and Craig Chalmers getting a decent ball so we can clear the game back to the halfway line. It's a messy scenario so far at these kickoffs, and I'm very pleased how that one went for Scotland.
There's the French hooker, Jean-Michel Gonzalez. Olivier Merle up at the front, he got the first touch to it. Around came Benetton. Scrum to the French. The Scottish front row, which did so well all through the Five Nations Championship. David Hilton, Kenny Milne and Peter Wright. Acoseberry. Delot. Tester for Gavin Hastings. And well, he got there first. And he gave Santandre a hell of a hammering. And Santandre has not recovered. Penalty to Scotland. Gordon, Santandre certainly feeling the full weight of big Gavin then.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to see that Gavin, as usual, he never took his eye off the ball. He came forward, uncompromisingly went for it. And, of course, Wainwright was there to clear up for him beautifully.
Another good kick from Chalmers.
And, John, all of a sudden the stadium is virtually full. The atmosphere is fantastic. Here it comes again. And, of course, Gavin there coming in for it, making sure that Joyner get out the road.
Well, if the initial bang didn't hurt Philippe Santandre, he came down on top of him just for good measure. Kenny Milne, good take at the front there from Damien Cronin. Scotland's first chance to attack. Shield cutting back. Chalmers, this time hoisting it. He's got plenty of height on it. The Scottish forwards can get there. But they just went beyond the ball.
Yeah, it's just a wee bit of indiscipline there. But what a fabulous ball that was back to Craig Chalmers. And the ball came down virtually with snow on it, if you can get snow out in this part of the world. What a great ball from the Scottish forwards.
Lacroix that time putting the ball away. There he is, Terry Lacroix. Made his debut as a replacement against Australia in '89 and now winning his 32nd cap. Not a good touch there from Benetton, but the French able to clean it up and get a drive going. Oh, but they lost it. Scotland come away. Morrison bumps off one man, and he's the smallest man in either pack. Peter Wright. Back to Chalmers. Just lost his footing, but recovers well. We're now tidying up. Runau. And that was straight in. Just a few inches too long from Brian Redpath.
Great play by the forwards there, the Scottish forwards supporting one another brilliantly. And wee Redpath was just unlucky. You know, the adrenaline's still pumping, John.
So the line out shortened. Down to 4 by the French. Coming all the way back. It's all very loose at the moment. And Scotland get it. They didn't get it down in the maul, so the scrum put in going to Scotland.
Scotland a bit fortunate there, I think, John. And I wasn't happy the way Benazir got a clean jump at the back of that line out.
Well, that's the one place, Gordon, where, as you were saying earlier, the Scots are going to have to give away some height. They're the pack. They're lighter in the pack by some 36 kilos. Significant, but they don't seem to be in too much problem in the scrum. A neat little chip between the first line of defenders and the second. And that allowed to bounce around too much. A little touch forward by the French before Caban came away with it. And Scotland have to put in. Again, a good tight scrummage from the Scots. Chalmers, Shield managing to break the first line. Support from Peters. Back to Chalmers. Nowhere to go, really. Gets the pass away, though. And again, Wainwright there in support. Now there's some space. Good little dummy from Chalmers, but he couldn't get the kick away. Set up again. Shield trying to wriggle away through. Morrison. Good ball retention from the Scots. Now the chance for the drop goal from Chalmers. Wide of the left post.
Well, the chance was there. He had the moment just to take aim and go. I'm a wee bit disappointed he missed that one. But great ball retention by Scotland. And it was lovely to see how Joyner came back inside there to the safety of the Scottish forward before the ball was laid back.
So Chalmers, who'd been looking for that little bit of space to go for the drop goal, finally got his chance. Just pushed it wide. Delow, a nasty one. Cross comes Hastings. He puts it high, but it's going straight into touch. So it'll be a line out back in the Scottish half from where he kicked the ball. Ericsson just demanding that gap. Forward comes Benazir again. Takes it cleanly off the top. Sella trying to set it up. And away come the Scots again. Morrison coming up with the ball. And Chalmers going for position down on the 22. A little bit of a scuffle. Back in the middle of the field. That's Olivier Merle. What a surprise.
Yes, tangling with Peter Wright. Now there's a surprise. Actually, when Ian Morrison got that ball a moment ago, he had the whole of the French 22 wide open and gaping, and he thought about the kick ahead, and then he obviously decided, no, I don't do that type of thing.
Philippe Benetton. And Wright, I think, just trying to push his man away and get up. Mel up the front. Two-handed catch that time. Back it comes, that time to Sadouani.
Yes, Merle is so big and strong that when he gets up like that in front of the Scottish jumpers, there's nothing they can do about it.
An absolutely massive man. 19 stone, 9 pounds, 6'6", and he was nearly of international class as a shot putter. Back inside, and again, Shield making a little inroad and just getting past that first line. Penalty to Scotland. No, not a penalty, it's a scrum. Scotland got the ball down, and the referee said it wasn't coming. A very shrill blast fooled me for a moment. Chalmers putting it back into the middle. Up goes Scott Hastings. Oh, and he got a hand to it first, but knocked it on. Saint-André just looking for opportunities before touching down. See, Scott Hastings did very well to actually put a hand up there, Gordon. He hadn't even looked at the ball till then.
That's right, and he also just lost his balance as the ball came down.
Down goes the scrum. And there's a bit of blood on one of the faces of the Scottish forwards. And as you know, they're very, very keen on getting that cleaned up. So it will be Peter Wright who has to have treatment.
I'm very intrigued, John, in the game so far, how Scotland just keep trying to brain the gain line using Graham Shield. You know, he's the playmaker. When Scotland did so well in Paris in the Five Nations, of course, it was Gregor Townsend who was the playmaker. And I'm quite intrigued to see how often Scotland have used Shield so far.
And the French scrum goes down. Well, that looked like a bit of a collapse on this side, but the referee was on the far side and certainly didn't see it. The man perhaps in trouble, Christian Califano. Very young prop, just 23. And doing his national service at the moment, Kenny Milne, the very experienced Scottish hooker. Just steadying things down. He wants to reset everything. Scotland trying to get a bit of pressure on that French scrum. But it's solid this time. Back to Delo. And he finds touch just outside the 22. There's Christophe Delo, sorry, who is in a spot of trouble. See, when he's trying to pass the ball to the right, he certainly won't be able to make any missed passes because he broke a thumb in that French Championship final. And Cronin getting it first at the front and then having to rip it free from Benazet.
As Cronin was jumping for the ball there, he was actually barged forwards by the Frenchman, so he still caught the ball, but it was only about a yard. You know, it still had only gone about 3 yards in.
No score yet. 12.5 minutes gone. Cronin again getting a buffeting, but getting the ball away. Scott Hastings hoists it high. Not quite far enough forward, but the Scots are under it. And storming away is Wainwright, but the whistle's gone. A little not forward.
Yeah, Scott's up and under there just was miscued slightly. But what a magnificent pick-up he had there off his toe lace, the boot laces.
Cossaberry. Now this is Lacroix. Good kick from the French centre, bouncing into touch. Midway between halfway and the 22.
That's the first decent clearing kick actually the French have put in since the game started. That'll give their forwards a chance to get their breath back. Because they've been under a bit of pressure, you know, since the kick-off.
There's Mel, there's Roumat, the tallest man in the French side, at 6'7". And that was Benazet coming through. The ball on the ground and the French going forward. Scrum to them. Benazet, who had that explosive start to his international career against Australia in 1990. He lasted just 14 minutes before being sent off. Well, a bad ball that they were trying to work off the back row. They hadn't got the sort of control they needed, and they paid the penalty. Benetton was forced to hang on the floor, so a penalty to the Scots.
The good thing about that from the Scottish viewpoint is that the French front five weren't too comfortable there without Benetton, and of course when he broke off to go for the pickup, they all came back on top of him and he lost his balance. So super scrummaging from Scotland.
Craig Chalmers making the touch, but that's where it all went wrong, and from that moment he was hanging on.
He seems to have picked up a sore hand during the melee after that scrum.
In fact, that's the hand he was having treatment on a little bit earlier, so he probably got another bang there. Benetton, so important. Sort of try on his debut against that British Isles 15, the only time it has ever played except on a tour when they went over to France in 1989 and played a match against the French to celebrate the bicentenary of the French Revolution. A lot of strapping has gone on to Benetton's arm. It's already heavily strapped.
John, maybe you can explain to me why the game's been held up so a number 8 can get his arm bandaged on the field. I don't quite understand that one.
The referee having made the decision, he could of course have sent him off, as you point out, Gordon. He's not vital to line out, there wasn't a scrum. Stella trying to find a way through. Cassaberry to Delot, the only one of the back division not to have shaved his head.
Well, keeping his hair certainly didn't help with his kicking there. I'm sure his followers won't be too happy with that slight game after they had rescued the ball back there from not a very conclusive layback from Sella.
Doddy Weir gradually getting some weight on, 16.5 stone now. But that's still comparatively light for a second row in the game these days. And again, the Scots driving in, but it's the French scrum. The ball didn't get down to the ground that time.
Well, it's crazy that when Scotland get a two-handed catch, that the supporters don't get in and Doddy Weir and get the ball off them, so we get clean ball back. That's a big loss for Scotland.
Big drive, and the scrum going down again. Wayne Erickson, the referee, is quite happy at the moment. Cassaberry, Delot, wide to Lacroix, wide to Saint-André. Just gets inside Scott Hastings. Cassaberry, stopped in his tracks was Benezes. And that didn't get down. The ball not put to floor, so Scotland get the scrum.
What a magnificent tackle there from Wainwright of Scotland. He knocked the Frenchman back. He couldn't get the ball down, so we also get the foot in. It looks like Graham Shield.
Graham Shield it is. Nosebleed. If they can't stop it, he'll have to go off. But they can, of course, now put on a temporary replacement. And Shields got 10 minutes to do that. But they're looking to have a much more serious injury is Philippe Benetton. That arm was heavily strapped. But he's obviously taken a couple more bangs on it. And now he looks to be out of the game. Marc Session will be the man to come on, the veteran number 8. So at least they've got an exact positional replacement.
Yeah, what a class of substitute to bring on. Cecil Lyon has been a magnificent player for France for a long time. And of course, Graham Shield coming off for Scotland as well. And on comes number 17, Ian Jardine from Stirling County.
And Shield holding that nose. The way they're bringing him off, I'm not sure whether there might not be a bit more damage than just a bleeding nose there. Chalmers clears the lines. Good big tackle again, and Scotland come up with the ball. Nicely done by Redpath. Good dummy. He saw that could have been dangerous and gathered it in instead. Scotland have it again. Away comes Peter Wright. Thrown in, driving in to set it up. And a penalty to Scotland in a very kickable position. Good work initially from the scrum half. And then the forwards taking it on. They really worked for that penalty. 20 minutes gone and Scotland have the first very clear chance of scoring.
What a magnificent sniping run that was down the blind side by Brian Redpath. And then the delicate wee chip into no man's land. And of course, when he did get through and recollect the ball, there was Peter Wright up in support. The prop forward, here it goes. There he was, Peter Wright in support, charging forward. And of course, the French kill the ball for Scotland to get the penalty. Wonderful opportunism by Brian Redpath.
Gavin Hastings, who's had this wonderful kicking start to the tournament. Well, it's been wonderful in every way. 5 tries. He has a total of 704 international points if you include his Lions 66. And only Michael Lynagh has more. Oh, and he's hit the post. It could still bounce, except none of the Scots on that far side had followed up. So it's France who come away to the 22. The wicked bounce. There was just no Scotsman around to take advantage.
There's great defence there by the French. Cool heads, running the ball out, setting up the ruck and then clearing virtually to halfway. That's one we wanted from Gavin though.
Lovely little loop from Caban. This is the sort of running that we've not seen so much from him. Out it goes to Sadoni. The chip through. Now for Untermack to chase. But the man who gets there first is Kenny Logan. It looked for a moment as if Untermack was going past him, but the Stirling County boy just waited his time and then went for it.
Oh, he just dropped a gear there, Kenny Logan, and zoomed back for that ball. And I've got to say, boy, was I delighted to see it. It was a fabulous kick ahead there from the French, teasingly into the in-goal area, and there was beautiful Kenny getting back. Nice touchdown. Cameraman didn't like it though.
Chalmers. Rumat. French get the drive going. All grafting, getting those legs pumping. And the Scots have now stopped it. Delo back inside to Untermack, but the referee was in the way. Benezesh, who's not getting past Morrison. Scrum to France. Delo waving his arms around like a windmill, protesting that that should have been a penalty.
Well, of course, the French were unlucky there when the referee got in the way, because when the ball was brought back inside to the French forwards, they were all pouring there in support.
And again, the French in problems. They try to pick up again in the back row, lost all the stability in the scrum. And Session that time it was, hanging on for grim death and giving away the penalty.
Well, that was almost deja vu when the same thing happened to Benetton barely 10 minutes ago.
The touch is missed. It was struck beautifully. But they've got the throw-in in any case, as it's returned to touch on the 22.
I mean, Redpath is so sharp sniping round that scrum. But it proves that the French front five are not comfortable on their own footing. Great to see Scotland getting the drive on.
Wayne Eriksson, the referee, not trying any French, explaining there in very precise English to Guy Cossabury why he gave that penalty. Again, Redpath. Beautiful couple of dummies there, getting himself out of trouble and through in front of his forwards. Jardine held up, but now the French have got a bit of momentum again. And this will be a good one to win. They can't get it down, though. And that's bad for Scotland because the scrum goes to France.
Yes, just as Jardine came back in off his right foot, the whole turf went away from him and he slipped and lost his momentum. And of course the two French tacklers then had control.
And again, Redpath gets a hand in to ruin possession. Then he's there to pick it up. He's having a tremendous game, the Scottish scrum half so far. A big drive, the Scots forwards now piling on. They want a clean ball here, but a penalty to the French. But I think a punch went in afterwards. And the referee just saying, get away, all of you, for the moment. And the referee going up to see what happened to Peter Wright. The initial penalty certainly given against the Scots.
Well, I think we can see Peter Wright's back. His jersey's hanging off him like a backless dress. Look at the stud marks on his back. This is just typical French rugby, though. But Scotland were driving forward. Peter Wright went ploughing in, as you can see, right over the French players. Then Damien Cronin went climbing in, of course. So Scotland certainly weren't innocent in that bit of play. But you know, John, we Redpath, you were dead right. What a game he's having. When he was selected for the game today, we were a bit surprised because Patterson had such a magnificent game at scrum half for Scotland against the Tongans.
And just look at those wheels on Peter Wright's back, and he's not feeling them. What they're more worried about, I think, is his head at the moment. And the news on Graham Shield is that the nose is not broken, and if they can stop the bleeding, they'll get him back on. There he is. And Peter Wright, in fact, was the man penalised and being spoken to by the referee for stamping over the top, and then Cronin also being warned for the same offence. And Cronin being told in no uncertain terms that he's on a caution, and that the referee considered that to be a lot more than legal rucking.
Well, you're certainly allowed to ruck the player away from the ball when the player's near the ball, but the referee adjudged obviously in that occasion that the Frenchmen were nowhere near the ball, and now Cronin on a caution, which means he can't get into any more trouble for the rest of this game.
Gathered in by Kenny Milne. He gets the drive on and sets it up, but they've lost possession. No, they've regained it. Chalmers coming inside Caban. He did well to get that up. Good kick from a difficult balance, and it's broken for Saint-André. He nearly got the Scots as well. Antomac now. Dummying inside, where the French are dangerous. Antomac suddenly into open field. Stella putting away Sadouni. Taban now in there. To Ruma down the blind side. Can he get the pass away? No. Into touch, but a little knock-on from the French, so a scrum to Scotland.
Oh, that was just absolutely magnificent defensive play by Ntamak. I mean, he looked as if he had actually run into a cul-de-sac, and then within a twinkle he was up the middle of the park, and Scotland were at 6s and 7s.
"30 minutes gone, still no score." Back it comes to Chalmers. Well, he got a good contact on the ball, but it was a narrow angle, and he's really not made any ground at all. A line out in the same spot, and the French have the throw-in. He's normally a very cheery chappy, that one, but looking very anxious. Everyone realizing how much hangs on this game. Well, Scotland driving through well, and they are going to get the scrum. So, one difficult position rescued.
That was absolutely brilliant defensive play by Scotland. It looked as if Ruma had actually won the ball quite cleanly, but the Scots boys poured through, and they were totally uncompromising in the way that they dealt with the boys that were near the ball.
And Benazesh in a lot of pain there.
Hey, what a battle this is. The tension is wonderful.
Well, I don't think either side, for all the brave words beforehand, fancies a quarter-final tie against New Zealand. And I think they both fancy their chances against either Wales or Ireland. Well, the Scots have the advantage in territory and possession, but there's not much in it.
Yeah, and it looks as if that's Dougie Morgan that's in the shot at the moment, looking very, very concerned. But he shouldn't be too concerned. It's a Frenchman that's coming off, and his boys are dealing so far in the defensive situations very well indeed.
And this is a Costa Berry. And it looks again, from the way he's holding that he's either got an arm, shoulder injury or a shoulder injury. It's his left shoulder, so they're going to have to bring on Aubin Weber, and this is not a blood injury, so they've got to actually wait for the doctor to sign him off. And the doctor's satisfied that he has no chance of continuing, so the end of the game for Guy Acosta-Berry, and Aubin Weber comes in at scrum half. He's a very experienced player, winning his 20th cap. Back it comes. Now, can Chalmers make a bit of ground? Well, he does, but it's only a bit. Still inside the Scottish 22.
Yes, the Scottish forwards still under colossal pressure here. And again, we're looking for them to pour through this line out and deal with any poor ball that the French win in the same manner they dealt with that last one. This is a very uncompromising contest, John.
No question of that. Caban, spring-heeled at the back of the line out. Session. And again, and this time a little chip through though to try and catch the Scots. But beautifully gathered. And an excellent touch. It curled around a bit though, so although the ball appeared to go into touch-up by halfway, we're still only 8 or 9 metres from the Scottish line. We're into the 35th minute. And this is the time when the Scots certainly won't want to concede. Gonzalez comes round to clean up. And they're trying to get that roll going, to get it away. But somehow, once again, it's the Scots who come up with it. And Kenny Logan puts it away to touch.
Well, that was Eric Peters, the Scottish number 8, that was the saviour there for the boys in blue. But what a young head Kenny Logan is showing. Sorry, what an old head.
The 23-year-old from Stirling County. And a penalty to the Scots.
I don't believe that the referee has actually given a penalty against the French in the line-out, because it's been like a battlefield in there on Scotland's thrown in.
The offender was Benazi, pushing down, and the penalty from Chalmers safely in touch, and Scotland breathe again as they come into the French half. Craig Chalmers from Melrose made his debut against Wales in '89 and played one test for the Lions that year. Cronin just got a touch to it, but he did well to do that because he was being pushed out of the lineup as he jumped, and Gavin Hastings steps forward. Anything in the French half, I'm sure, will be kicked at goal by the Scots. He'll have no problems with the distance if he hits the ball properly. So 36 minutes gone, and Gordon, this is just the sort of time when the Scots could strike a great blow by going into the lead before half-time.
Yes, John, you're dead right. The Scottish forwards have played their hearts out so far, and what a wonderful reward 3 points now would be for the effort they've put in so far. Come on, Big Gavin.
So Gavin Hastings just building the concentration. He hit the post with his first penalty after 21 minutes. Now, can he put this one through? It's certainly long enough. And it's there, a great tip from Gavin Hastings. And France paying dearly there for two line-out offences. One which took Scotland out of their own 22, where they'd been pinned for minutes. The second one within the range of the siege gun boot of Gavin Hastings. Scotland lead, 3 points to 0. Cronin couldn't take the kick-off. Not forward, says the referee, and France have the scrum. We're into the 38th minute.
Well, it's crucial now that Scotland hold on now till half-time. This is when, of course, the French are at their most dangerous, when they know they have to sting back immediately.
Wide it comes, back inside via Lacroix. Just trying to work the blind side, Saint-André chasing. Beautifully gathered in though. The Scottish boys not making any mistakes at the moment. And away goes the kick to touch. They're still on their own 22. Gavin Hastings making sure that it was safely away. Just a minute and a half, as you can see, left on the clock. There will probably be some injury time. Gonzalez, Caban off the back. And Benazi now with the big drive to the posts. And a penalty against Scotland. They couldn't resist it. They were under enormous pressure. And I think they'll argue that they were on their feet. The referee says you were off it.
Well, certainly from the position up here, John, it looked as if, to me, the referee got it right there. But, you know, if I was France, I would throw the ball to the back of the line out every single time that's their throw-in. Because, there's the ball going down now, and Ian Morrison just dives straight in. And scoops the ball back illegally. And, of course, the referee's right on the spot.
Lacroix takes the kick very quickly. Whilst we were still on the replay, we've got no control over that, I'm afraid. That's our SABC director who controls that. And the score now level again. That lead lasting only a couple of minutes. We're into injury time at the end of the first half. And it's Scotland 3, France 3. Doddy Weir. Kenny Milne getting in there to support. There's no knock forward. Chalmers back inside to Eric Peters. Tremendous stride from the Scots. Damien Cronin looking for support. On it goes. Are they over? Stopped just short. And they've got to release it here. It's a penalty to Scotland again. Well, they'd have loved the try, but they'll settle for the penalty.
Well, what a magnificent riposte from the Scottish boys. It was a wonderful drive on by Eric Peters. And of course, the one thing that the Scots mustn't do is now get involved in the petulance that the French are dishing out.
Well, this by far the simplest chance that Gavin Hastings has had. He's got 1 out of 2 so far, and this almost in front. The last thing he'll be thinking of is the one he missed against England in the last World Cup. We know he can miss them from here, but I'm sure he's in such good form, as he is, that he puts it way through the post.
I knew you were going to say that. I didn't even want to think about it, but the big man did the business. That's superb. Come on, Scotland.
Still time for the French to kick off. It's a good one. Just over 10 metres. Benazi. And in comes Saint-André from the left wing to the move going right. Cronin. Till he got injured in the French match in Paris. He was so much the centrepiece of the Scottish forward effort. Now back performing the same task. Sadoni. And he's sliced that one. It's not gone into touch. Back comes Redpath to Hastings. And Hastings storming through again. This time, there he is, a Wainwright over. A great try for the Scots. And what a mistake from Sadoni. Again, it was beautiful work from little Brian Redpath that set it up. Dougie Morgan's face says everything.
Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. First of all, Kenny Milne heard the call. Redpath took it, gave it to Big Gavin, and on he went, tanking. And there was Wainwright on his shoulder, right through the final tackle and over the line. And you know, Sadornay, his kicking from his right foot earlier has been not very brilliant, and now his left foot we know. And you know, Big Gav was up there at Redpath's shoulder, infield to where the support was, took the tackle in his own terms, and Wainwright came streaming through, and of course Doddy Weir one way and he had 2 other men on the other side. What a wonderful try by Scotland. What a game.
And what an end to the first half. No score at all until the 36th minute. And now suddenly all action, and Scotland leading 11-3 at the moment with the conversion to come. Oh, and he's blasted it between the posts. What a great effort from the Scots there at the end of the first half. Absolutely tremendous. to finish with a flurry like that at the all-important moment. You can almost see the French heads going down. The half-time score, Scotland 13, France 3.
Heineken Export, the world's greatest international.
There is a car that has more computing power than it took to take man to the moon. The new BMW 750.
This is Runseal Quick Drying Wood Stain. You can't miss it. It comes in a tin with Runseal Quick Drying Wood Stain on it. It protects and it's rainproof in about 30 minutes. Which means in about 30 minutes, your wood's rainproof and protected. So if you've got wood to stain and you want it to dry quickly, use Runseal Quick Drying Wood Stain. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
I've won. I've won!
I've won!
Forget it all for an instant.
Carol?
Where is everybody?
Tomorrow, buy the Sunday Times, and on Monday get Britain's fastest growing daily paper, The Times, with 13 pages of sport featuring Rob Andrew for only 10p. The Times at 10p.
Welcome back to Pretoria. Scotland 13, France 3 at half-time. The Scottish fans absolutely delirious around us. What do you make of that, Gareth?
Well, rightly so. They are delirious because of that fine try right at the death of half-time. A fine match. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute it's a classic, but a real tough forward battle. And Scotland deserve their lead because they're driving forward, putting France on the back foot. France have reminded it once or twice. They've still got the capability of breaking out, especially from deep. I think the match is finally poised and far from over.
We shall certainly see the whole of the second half coming up. Join us in a few minutes' time.
Welcome back to Loftus Versfeld. And after that explosive end to the first half, Scotland with an absolutely invaluable 10-point lead. And Graham Shield has retaken his place. He's still got a wadge of cotton wool to that nose, but he's able to get back into the game. So we wait for the signal to restart. Everybody's now ready, and Craig Chalmers. There he is, just starting the second half. Then as he tries to deflect, but no control from the French. And that's really been the story of the first half for them, Gordon. A couple of instances where they broke out, showing some flair in the backs, but they were never able, against this really terrier-like Scottish defence, to make the breakthrough.
Yes, you're dead right. But, you know, as Gareth Edwards said there during half-time, they are always dangerous. It doesn't matter where they get the ball. In Scotland, there's no way we can relax at any time.
Thrown in with the touch. Poor pass to Chalmers, though, and he couldn't hold it. Now there's trouble. An overlap out on the left. Good cover, Sandon-Ray putting it in. Scotland at full stretch, but they get the ball safely into touch. And that all came from a basic error between the half-backs.
Yes, that's one of the best line-out balls Scotland have had in this whole game. And a dreadful mistake, but fantastic covering defence by Scotland. Great Craig Joyner staying out there on his man, forcing the kick ahead, and Scotland breathe a sigh of relief.
The great thing about this Scottish team at the moment is they're queuing up to help each other when they are in trouble. Big jump from Ruma, two-handed catch, in goes the big drive. Trying to just roll it in field to get some movement from the centre of the Scottish forwards. Well, made some gum, wheeling off now, and the Scots have got to rejig quickly, but there was a little nudge forward, just at the all-important moment, yet again. And Scotland breathe a huge sigh of relief because they have the put in.
That was great defensive mauling by Scotland. They never lost sight of who the ball carrier was in the middle of the French maul. Magnificent defence.
Down goes the scrum on this side again. And Wayne Eriksson is going to have to come around here and sort this out. Possession, Peter Wright. Big push by the French. Now it's held by the Scots. Chalmers gets it away. A very, very good kick from that angle. Brings play out to about 16 or 17 metres.
That's one for Craig Chalmers to be proud of. Earlier on, there's one or two kicks where he hasn't got the angle, but by Jove, he made it there.
Benazesh from the Racing Club in Paris. Originally played for Toulouse. Roumat off the top. Lacroix just trying to bulldoze a hole through the middle. Back it comes. Out to Caban, adding the support. Sadoni's in, and Tamac on the right wing. And away again come the Scots. The number of turnovers that the French have conceded gives them no chance at all. Now they've got it, and the referee's happy to let it go. Sadoni again. In comes the ball. Got to regain his feet, but it's clean. In goes Milne to ruck it free. And it's being held by the French. So the Scots have a very welcome penalty under their post.
Some fabulous defensive play there by Scotland. And of course, when the ball came loose, it was Scott Hastings that went diving in there to secure the ball and allow the time for the Scots forwards to get round.
Eric Peters in a spot of bother. Number 8 had a remarkable season. There we can see the penalty count. 7-3. And the Scots being very mean with the penalties too. If they can keep that up, it will hold them in good stead. And it looks there as if Graham Shield has got to come off again. That bleeding nose still giving him trouble.
And of course, with now Bean Jardine coming on under the rules of this magnificent term, he's a blood replacement. I love that term, I really do.
So Jardine comes back, the Stirling County centre. He's never scored a try for Scotland. This is his 10th appearance. Kenny Milne. Big jump from Doddy Weir that time at the front, but they've lost the ball after he came down. That's the second or third time that's happened. Delot, and Stella almost through the middle, but yet again the Scots getting in there, and a little knock-on from the French, so they get the scrum when there was no advantage to the Scots.
Yes, that's at least the second time, John, in the game where Doddy Weir has won beautiful clean ball on the line-out, and then the support play has lost it to the French.
He doesn't need that support, because if he's got a weakness, it's probably his upper body strength. Good chip into space from Chalmers. Saint-André doing very well to not put a foot in touch and get it back to Sadoni, who cleared.
It's a nice kick through there from Craig Chalmers, and it now gives Scotland a smashing position to give us an attacking ball from the line out.
Quickly taken, but the deflection was inaccurate, and now Scotland have another chance. This time they're calling a full line out. There's Laurent Caban. looking back in good form in this match. He's not been his old self really throughout this season, was dropped, and that was unthinkable. French well ahead in the lineouts, 15-9. But we are coming up with that one, and that time the support was right. Milne gets it away to Morrison. And the little chip pushing the French back. Had a great touch about 10 metres from the French line. And news of the French injuries just coming through. Incredibly bad luck for them. Philippe Benetton and Guy Acosta-Berry have both got fractured arms. So whatever happens, it looks as if they're out of the tournament. Jean-Michel Gonzalez. And the cries of Scotland, Scotland ringing out. French get the touch, but they really couldn't clear it. And the ball going dead. What's he going to award? And Scotland have got the put in. I wondered whether he saw a little Scottish knock on there, but he didn't. And a 5-metre scrum to Scotland. This is a great position, Gordon.
It sure is. It was real panic stations there when that ball was slapped back from the French in the line-out. And gee, the Scots boys didn't waste any time pouring through the line-out.
And the French need really to steady down their act a bit. There are signs here that the wildness is coming in, which has dogged them all season. We all know that they're capable of breaking out from a position like this and scoring, but they do need control. Picked up by Peters and goal. Very important ball for Scotland to win. And they've got it. Chalmers. Jardine coming back. Now they'll be trying to set it up better. Brian Redpath goes. And can Scotland again? Yes, back it comes. Logan. And the referee happy that this one is on the floor and knows it's going to come, and Scotland have got the put in when it doesn't.
As the touch judge flags up on the far side, he's seen some skullduggery on the far side. We'll now just have to wait and see what he spotted.
That's the Australian touch judge, Barry Leask. Who's he singling out? It's the Frenchman. And the referee explaining that the touch judge was not able to see who it was, but there was some stamping going on the ground, and therefore he's penalising them, even though he can't identify the player responsible.
Well, John, it's one of the great things that's happened to rugby over the years. We'll maybe see it here. There's a fair bit of stamping going on. It looks like number 3 that was stamping in there, but we don't know if that's the man that the Dutch judge saw. Actually, I think what they should do, they should put the numbers of the players just round about the ankles on the socks, and then there'll be no dubiety whatsoever.
Ten minutes gone. Scotland leading by 10 points. 13-3 the score, and Hastings now with a chance to extend that lead further. Wide out, but the better side for the round the corner kicker. Can he curl this one in? Oh, and he's just done it too much. Misses it on the near post. So the score remains the same. Scotland 13, France 3. Nasty one for Chalmers. The ball standing on end. And he couldn't get the pass away insensibly. And they're singling out Laurent Cavin. It looked... he's given a penalty to the Scots. It looked fair enough to me, but he said he's not having a shoulder charge. We've got to tackle him. You're not allowed to just hit him, and Cavan, I think, thinking that he'd have got away with that in most arenas.
I've got to say, John, that looked pretty fair to me. The arms were open. It was shoulder contact he made, but the arms were open in an attempt to tackle, and I've got a wee smile on my face.
Gavin Hastings hasn't yet, concentrating very hard over 50 metres, just inside his own half, but he's striking the ball so majestically that I can't see distance being the problem. Top scorer now in the Rugby World Cup. He's played, of course, in all 3 tournaments, and in this tournament he's overhauled Grant Fox. 206 points so far. Well, he's got the distance, but he hasn't got the accuracy. Pushes it past the left post. And France breathe again. If both of those had gone over, it would have been very tough for them to come back. Plenty of time, still almost half an hour left in this second half. Hastings just hoisting it back deep into the French 22. We're there. And he's penalised. That was a wild tackle from Doddy Weir. And we're there in trouble. Costa Derry, remember, is already off.
Well, again, John, Doddy Weir is 6'7", 6'8". He jumps to try and charge the kick down, and on his way down, he bumps into the player. Here we see it again. Now he's on his way down, and it was just his trailing leg that caught the player.
Well, the referee must have thought it was intentional. And the good thing is that Weber seems to be okay, because he's already the replacement on at scrum half, and a penalty just inside the Scottish half. Dougie Morgan, not a happy man with this. The last thing he wants is any chance for the French to come back into the game. Sure, he's imploring his players to keep their discipline. Lepar. He's got the distance. And it's there. Great kick from the French centre from halfway. And France narrow the gap to 13-6.
Well, it's game on again, but I must admit, I feel sorry for Doddy Weir there. That was a great jumping catch here by the French forwards.
Hastings putting that, it seemed to go way up above the stands. Ruma cannot gather it. Scots boys drag him out. Hoisted now. And a good take there by Sadoni as Jardine came thundering through on him.
You know, Gavin Hastings up and under there. John, that's one of the highest up and unders I've ever seen in my life.
Away goes the kick from the mark. Back to the French 10-metre line. And this at the moment, certainly the lowest scoring game in the World Cup so far, but very exciting, very intense, a tremendous battle. And the Scots boys again getting through, making their tackles round the fringes and forcing the mistake from the French. So they got the foot in midway in the French half.
It's been one of the top things of the Scottish play today, is getting through in the French ball. It's been magnificent.
up by Peters. Misses out Chalmers. Jardine. In goes Little Redpath to set it up again. A bit more control there. And that was Deslo through so early. He had to be offside, but he's got away with it. Benazesh can't gather. Now it comes wide and a bit of an overlap. If they can move it quickly. Lacroix. And brought down late. The Scots getting a little bit desperate. And that was Joyner. And here they've conceded a kick for a late tackle. Again in a very scoreable position.
Well, I was disappointed 2 minutes ago when Ian Jardine went up to set up the maul when the ball came back from the set piece. We didn't set it up properly. The Scottish back row were far too late getting round. And you see here the kick through and then the late tackle going in. The referee was quite right in giving his decision against Scotland and awarding the penalty to France. But Scotland, the concentration has gone just in the last 3-4 minutes.
Terry Lacroix, who began his career with some impressive kicking performances for the French, then seemed to lose it a bit and was dropped. The physiotherapist from Dax. But he's on target again there. And Scotland paying the penalty for lack of discipline. That late tackle was totally unnecessary. The ball was away to safety, but now the score, Scotland 13, France 9.
The Scots have to now show a bit more inventiveness, John, behind the scrum. The main playmaker has gone, Graham Shield.
Just a little close-up there of Deslo, and you can see his problem, that left hand and wrist heavily strapped. He broke his thumb, had to have an operation on it just before the World Cup. And he does find great difficulty, apparently, in spinning a long pass out to the right. Good kick to the corner.
But I was saying earlier, John, about Scotland having to be more inventive. We have to see more of Big Gavin in the game now. The big man must come in and put his mark on the game.
And the French have shortened the line. Ruma, two-handed catch. And the Scottish backs coming up within 10 metres. The line-out is not over if it's a two-handed catch. Session driving away. Nell now coming through like a tank. Bit of space on the right again. Benazi finding his captain. On halfway. Oh, and the Scots again getting a boot in there. The referee quite happy that no ruck or maul had been formed, so they couldn't be offside.
Yes, France are determined that they're going to run the ball down the park into Scotland's half. And I don't quite understand their thinking, because at the moment, you know, they're 13-9 down. They have to get the game down into Scotland's half.
Jean-Michel Gonzalez. Also played up top for them. That time, Wainwright got just enough hand on the ball. Morrison getting in, but the Scots were slow to support. They've got it this time, though. Here it comes. And that kick straight to Sadouni. But offside, and Scotland have a penalty. Surprise, surprise, forward comes Big Gavin.
Yes, and also the French were piling into that ruck, and the Scottish prop, David Hilton, he had one or two bangs on the head. But the Scots have to calm down, they have to regroup. The French at the moment are still a bit at 6s and 7s, but the danger that they can mount at any minute, you know, it just will not go away.
And this is an important one. There's a tremendous difference between a 4-point lead, which Scotland have at the moment, and a 7-point lead. Great feeling that one score cannot overhaul you.
It's all the points that Gavin kicked against the Ivory Coast and against Tonga. I'm sure he would gladly swap most of them for this one. I would.
"22 minutes gone, we're into the last quarter. Up go the cheers and up go the flags. Hastings on target again. And there's daylight. Scotland 16, France 9.
And Scotland must tie in this kick-off and belt the ball back down deep into the French 22 and keep the game there.
We're with the ball. Redpath. And he hasn't really got enough leather on that one. There's a wince from beside me.
Oh, mummy, daddy. That's just what we didn't want.
But almost the first mistake that Redpath has made today. He's had a tremendously controlled game at the base of the scrum. Up went Rumau with the catch. Wide to Sella. That's Santandre again in from the far side. A great tackle on Sadoni. Away go his legs. And away goes the ball.
A wonderful tackle by Scott Hastings. The Scottish backs just drifted across, waiting to see just who was actually going to come at them with the ball. And down went Scott Hastings. Bang.
Well, it was a quick heel, not quite as they wanted it, but it worked well in the end. Sadoni. He's hoisted it just into the Scottish half. Well taken by Joyner. The tackle looked a little high, but the referee was happy. Now it's important. Scotland have come up with it. Hastings down the blind side. Again, hoists a mighty kick. And Sadoni has to leap to take it, so he can't mark. Scotland trying to stay on their feet, but France come up with it. They haven't got any support back there, though. Logan sprinting across just in case it didn't find touch.
Well, Scotland will be quite happy for France to keep pumping the ball up in the air, because it's when France have the ball in their hands and they're running out of defence and attacking, that's when they're at the most dangerous.
And the news on Graham Shield is that he has a suspected broken nose. There's Ntamak coming down with the ball from Gavin Hastings up and under. And Daddy Weir with a very good deflection. Oh, but the move off the backs wasn't so good. There is a knock-on. The referee's just waiting for advantage, and now he blows.
Well, when you think of the hours that the boys put in on the practice pitches out here, it's awful disappointing to see them messing up a simple, straightforward back move. The forwards won't be happy with them.
Little loop around Session. He releases with there. Away goes the chip down the touchline.
That's the first decent back row move that the French have actually done in this whole game.
Just creating space for the scrum half there, and Scotland now on the defensive, all hands to the pump. Kenny Mill. All three known brothers that represented Scotland. It was one of their great sadnesses that they never ever did it together. The other two are props. But they all got their caps. Into Mac. Back inside to his captain, and this is where Santandré is so dangerous. That's where he initiated the try that won the series against New Zealand from way back in his own half on the counter-attack. And a penalty offside from the Scots. Now, what will the French do? Across comes Lacroix. A little consultation with his captain. And he's going to go for goal. Wide out on the right. With the angle, it must be almost 50 metres. Coming up towards 28 minutes gone.
Yes, big Eddie Peters was just too quick through there, right through the middle of the ruck. Good decision by the referee. But I was delighted earlier when the French right winger, Incomac, caught the ball that Kenny Logan kicked up the park and then ran infield and passed it, because I don't want him to have the ball in his hands at all.
Lacroix. Again, he's got the distance. Tremendous kick from the French centre. Wonderful kick, a very difficult angle for him out there near the right touchline, the right-footed kicker. And that narrows the gap to 4 points again. Scotland 16, France 12.
That's one of the most glorious kicks that we'll see in this World Cup. He struck it beautifully, right in the middle.
11.5 minutes left on the clock. Scotland have the line out. Now it's the French voices that are being raised, and it's the Scottish faces that are looking anxious. Jim Telfer there, their director of rugby. Oh, and the ball just topping loose. Away comes Morrison with it. The French regrouping and getting in a ferocious drive to stop the Scots. And it had to be a penalty. Once he was down on the floor, he carried on wrestling away with the ball. He can't believe it. But that is where the inexperience of Benazesh comes in, just fighting for the ball on the floor. Once he's down, he has got to roll away.
And you know, he had done such a magnificent job for France there, wrestling that ball away from Ian Morrison and the rest of the Scottish forwards. And down he went, as you say, John. Now he has to release it there. He rolled over and then he has to release. But no, he didn't. Penalty to Scotland. And of course it's in a position that for Big Gavin, it's no problem.
Peter Wright in the wars again. And it looks as if he's coming off. Well, we don't see too much of it from this side. The reverse angle not helping us very much there. But Peter Wright looking in real trouble. Again, it seems to be a shoulder or an upper arm injury. And the doctor just asks him one question, and on comes Paul Bennell. And Bennell, very, very experienced. This is his 40th cap. Peter Wright taking over from him this season. 31 minutes now gone, and Hastings with the penalty. It's there. Great kick. And Hastings knew that was one of his best. Right out of the top draw. Little punch of the air in delight at the way he'd hit it.
And quite right too. It was a smacker.
And back to that all-important 12 points, 19-12. That all-important 7 points lead. Chalmers puts it way downfield. Oh, and it's a great kick, just drifting into touch. Sadani quickly finding into Mack. Now the Scots have got to bring him down. Mills got him. Benazesh. Out it comes to Delow. He pushes back the position, and that's a good kick too. Touch just outside the Scottish 22.
And now the Scottish forwards really have to raise their game. They have to pull out something extra from deep inside the stamina resources. And I'm delighted that Paul Burnell's now on the park. From the point of view that if the French are going to have to open up and run the ball from everywhere, he's got a fresh pair of legs and he's fitter now than I think he's ever been in his rugby career.
Doddy Weir gets the touch. Redpath gets it away and does well. Managed to just keep that parallel with the touchline. Saint-André is collared. He's wrestling, trying to get it away. He did that time, and Weber coming round the outside. He's running against forwards. Gavin Hastings puts it right up into the press area.
Well, that's the nearest I'll come to playing in this World Cup, John. But I was disappointed there that 3 or 4 of the Scots players got a hold of the Frenchman and he was still able to get the ball away.
Nell. Too many Scots in that line out. So back they go, it's a free kick. They can't kick at goal. Delow. That's Session. Delow with the drop goal. But he skewed it wide, and that's relief for Scotland.
John, that was a crazy thing for the French standoff to do. He must have put at least a 2-man overlap on the outside. And I'll tell you, there was 1 or 2 of his backs are looking at him now, absolute daggers. I can't speak French too fluently, but I can read their language, the signs on their faces.
No hurrying on the part of the Scots. Chalmers just wasting a few precious seconds. 34 minutes gone. Good drive from the Scots there, pushing the French back up to the 10-metre line. But back comes the ball on the French side. Little drop inside into Mack, almost away. Just flung on. I think it was Cronin who got the all-important touch. Lacroix, good tackle. That time from Jardine. France again, managing to recycle it. Delow again. And he's missed it on the near post.
Well, Delow is definitely bottom of the popularity stakes. Not only with all the French supporters here in this stadium and all the ones back home, but I'll tell you, with all the players that are outside him. And earlier on it was wee Redpath that made that magnificent try-saving tackle right in the middle of the park.
So, once again, Craig Chalmers pulls everything down into the last 5 minutes. We are just trying to get up and spoil the French possession. France have got control of this ball. Delow flipping inside to Sella. Penalty to France. Over the top. And the Scots under enormous pressure. They've got another 5 minutes with injury time, probably to hold out.
At 8 o'clock tonight.
Can Scotland hold out? The winner, of course, has what they will feel is quite a winnable quarter-final against Scotland, against Ireland or Wales. Those two play for that second place in their group tomorrow. The losers here will have to play New Zealand, and New Zealand have looked the side of the tournament so far, Gordon.
Yes, absolutely. Dougie Morgan, the Scottish coach, was interviewed prior to the kick-off here today, and he was saying, well, it doesn't matter what happens because to win this World Cup we've got to play against New Zealand sometime. But personally speaking, I would far rather not play them in the quarter-finals.
It's been a very bruising battle. Everybody feeling the knots and bruises, I'm sure, and particularly the most capped player in any country of all time, Philippe Sella, winning his 108th cap today, as we go into the 38th minute. Lacroix now with the penalty, and it's there, crept inside the left post, and this game could still have a twist or two to come. Terry Lacroix has come good just when they needed it most. Scotland 19, France 15.
What a battle we have here. What a final 2 or 3 minutes this is going to be. There'll be a lot of injury time to be added on. So this game's far from over yet, John.
Weir got up and got the touch, but Caban gathers it in and sets it up. We're there. Big tackle from Eric Peters. And the French really now getting some steam up. Back inside to Mac. Again, so importantly for Scotland, just losing his footing. Now they've got a bit of space out here. Sadouni, great tackle from Scott Hastings again. But there's Saint-André trying to wriggle free. France still have it. Mel. So important that they don't make, and again, Delo just going for the casual little kick wide when he had space and he had men. And really, I think, again, letting the Scots off.
We were definitely let off the hook there because they had men outside them. They were screaming for the ball. Certainly the Scots' backs were there in defence. But I was delighted to see him kicking it. And again earlier, Scott Hastings coming in to Scotland's rescue with a magnificent tackle.
Into the 80th minute. Can Scotland hold out? Well, they've held out all the way through without conceding a try thus far. We've not seen very much of the French player. Chalmers hoists a huge kick. And the French take the throw from deep in their own half. Now they've got an open field to run at. But again, the tackle goes in. Weber has got nowhere to go. Benetesh. Delo looking for somewhere to run. Weber, wide. He can't get the pass away. The Scots trying to set it up. A little knock forward by the French, though. And a great cheer from the Scots all round the ground.
And John, the players are almost dead out in their feet. They are absolutely shattered. They've all played their hearts out for both sides. They've put everything into this game.
And Gavin Hastings flat on his face there, having made sure that that pass could not get through. Great tackle from Morrison.
Gavin, he just got the full weight of Ruma down on his neck there, but he's okay.
Back he goes. Could we see the second famous victory this year for Scotland over France? They broke that huge run in Paris, where they hadn't won since 1969 until this year. Under pressure, but a good kick away from Chalmers. Good solid touch, that's what they wanted. We're into injury time, but there could be quite a lot of it. And the important thing here for Scotland is that they don't concede a try. They can afford to give away one more penalty. And across goes Wainwright, sucking in the oxygen. Untomac cutting through the middle. And it was Wainwright who got him. Space now on the right. They're trying to find an overlap. Lacroix going through there, but another desperate tackle goes in to stop the French. Scrum to France. Coming up to 2 minutes of injury time played.
What a proud performance this is by the Scots. I'm absolutely delighted to be here to witness this. It's wonderful.
And the scrum goes down. The referee again deciding that no one's to blame. The put-in will be France's again. .82.5 minutes gone. And he's given a free kick to the French. Halo, and coming through the middle, Big Benazzi. All hands again to the pump. There could be an overlap. Untomac, can he get over? Yes, he has. And Untomac rescues France in the 3rd minute of injury time. Reminiscent of their victory against New Zealand in the 2nd test last summer, as they snatched the game out of the fire. And there's the hero of the moment, Emile Untomac. The pressure on Scotland had been incredibly intense, and in the end they cracked.
Well, you have to hand it to them. They held on, they kept the pressure on, and of course a superb try there by the right winger, Untomac. He was always going to be the danger man for me in this half. The ball came out. I have to say the Scots were a wee bit thin in the ground as they came out there. The drift tackling didn't work that time.
Well, they started the movement too close to the Scottish line to give the Scottish backs a chance to drift and give away a bit of territory. They were always under pressure, and at last a bit of traditional French handling. They kept their cool for once and have taken the lead. I'm sure the final whistle has to go after this. And Terry Lacroix with a chance to just add a little glitter to the victory. Magnificent, because he's the man who's kept them in the tournament. A tremendous kicking performance from him. And Terry Lacroix really makes the Scots suffer. They can hardly believe it. 3 minutes of injury time had gone when that final try eventually came, and the Scots tournament, which had been going so well, is suddenly a very different proposition.
I'm immensely disappointed for the Scots players, John. They put up a proud performance, and at the end of the day, the difference between the sides had been the penalty the referee gave for a collapse scrum.
Right, huge celebration in the French side. From the Scots, though, great disappointment. They can hardly believe it. The final score: France 22, Scotland 19.